Over to Uncle Alan Doyle. Let's have Alan come on down. Alan's not been on for a while. He's been doing his scouting duties. Welcome once again, Alan, and perhaps you can bring us up to speed really with the statement that was made by Richie. If you can stay on your chair, that would help.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Falling off. How many have you had? Not enough, I don't think.
No.
But if you can bring us up to speed on the way that you see things, and some of the fans have their concerns, but for me, it just seems common sense, to be honest.
Well, yeah, Richie's just did a young boy a couple of years ago, Hugo, and he's obviously got family commitments. This business is built up in China along with our academy, and he's a very committed man. He wants to be there, and he can't be in 10 places at once. And he you know, when we spoke over the last season or two, that he really needed to step back and let somebody take over to be, you know, there when it all happens, you know, so make decisions. And Dave is a really nice fella, and you know, Richie's dealt with him for 10 years and everything, knows exactly about him, so I think it'd be good for the club. Richie's assured me that he's not going anywhere.
That's the thing I want to bring you to, because quite a few of the fans have misread the statement or haven't got it down 100%. They think that Richie is in fact leaving the club. He's not, is he?
No, he's still the owner of the club, and as far as I'm concerned, the number one man here, and he's assured me that he's not going anywhere, and he just can't do the day-to-day running of the club, which, you know, to be fair, when matches are on here and everything, you know, we've got to have someone who's in charge, and that'd be Dave. So I think it's good for everybody, really, you know. So I'm just hoping that you know, we can step up from what's happened in, you know, in the last few months, particularly on the pitch. But I think off the pitch, it's a sensible thing to do.
Let's get to talking about on the pitch. It hasn't gone the way that the board and the chairman wanted this season, really from the word go, and it's put us in a very, very difficult position to maintain that triumph for promotion. Oh,
it's been disappointing for me, for all you lot, for the fans, everybody. I mean, it's just, you know, I obviously deal with a lot of other clubs and managers and people in the game, and they look at our team sheet today and they look at other team sheets and they think, Doyle, what a side you've got there, you know, you've got this player and that player, but playing on that sheet and playing on that pitch is two different things, and we just, for whatever reasons, you know, we've gone up through them. I can assure you, with lots of meetings with the football committee, with the manager, with the players, we haven't got enough people with fire in their bellies, in my opinion, you know, and they're not. You've got to die these days. Everybody's got to be committed. The 11, you can't carry people.
We were at the Weymouth game a week or so ago, and the first half the side played really well, and then really in the second half just stopped playing. And the same thing happened at Leamington, where they didn't even get into first gear. But the last time we played Leamington, we're exceptional. Why is the difference so immense? Whether we get a good Kettering Town team or a very mediocre Kettering Town team?
I think it's leaders on the pitch, commitment. I don't think we've got enough people to grab people and say, come on, do that. And you know, it's pretty obvious. We're leaking goals at the wrong time in games as well. Yeah, I mean, and we can't keep making excuses and doing this and doing that. And you know, there's going to be some people who are good players that are not going to be in next year because they haven't reached the standard. It's as simple as that. So it's took a long time to get some of them players. I think we've done well. There's some, you know, in actual getting them, but they haven't done what they should have done. Simple as that.
Marcus Law's taken a lot of flack on the social media sites and taken a lot of not abuse, but he's taken a lot of hits from a lot of fans, and he's really been trying to steady the ship. And how do you see Marcus's future?
Well, he's got to do better than he's done this season. You know, I think we probably on getting players. We've signed one or two older players. If you look at last year when we had a good run, we had a couple of lads on the bench from Birmingham that were pacey and you know, move themselves around. We haven't got that.
Popper, wasn't it? I think,
yeah, and the other thing is that I just think generally we've got to get a bit more organised, and we don't get a run of games where we have the same team. That's not the manager's fault. I mean, we've had 3 or 4 players who've been injured so many times.
Young Bateman, for instance, a
well,
talented player,
Bateman
isn't
and
he?
Baker.
Yeah.
You know, they're both 17. They're both very talented. They're both Kettering players, or hopefully even better than that in the future. But they've both been injured. You know, and you can't do anything about that. We've got young Jack who played the other night. I think he's ready to step up and prove what he can do. So there is that on the horizon. But the players out there have got to do better. And if they want to be with us next year, they've got to show in the last 7 or 8 games what they've got. You know.
So a lot of hard decisions to be made then towards the end of this season and starting in the summer.
100%, because we've got to get better pre-season games, you know, and
Do you think that's where the fault was pre-season?
I wouldn't say it was a fault. The fault was we at home, the first 4 or 5 home matches we were awful, and we didn't score goals, and we were letting them in at the other end, and it's took the toll on us through the season. But we've got to make sure that we're fit and running, because next season with Hereford and Salisbury and Royston and Farnborough, it's going to be a hell of a league, and it's going to be even more competitive than it is this league. And I think there's some good teams in this year as well. So we've got to match them and get better. You know, we have got a lot of work to do.
Well, that's good to hear that we're still going to have a team. I do realise that certain players will go, certain players will come in. I'm sure that you'll do your best to keep as many players here as you can, and bring a few more players in. I know you've been very frustrated that you can't bring certain players in that have agreed to come and then have let you down. It must be frustrating for you when it happens.
Well, yeah, it is, but you know, it's part and parcel of the job, really. You know, it doesn't matter. The manager does listen to me, but you know, he has to make decisions as well. And you know, sometimes we might disagree now and again, and you know, it's easy to be right after the event, but it does frustrate me a lot sometimes, you know, because I see a lot of teams and a lot of players and that, but you know, we just need 2 quiet characters at the back who win things, and right down the middle,
yeah,
really.
We're
just missing that.
Pepe, aren't we? Herb.
Yeah, Herb was a big loss. He gave us energy, and we haven't. I think some of
the Canty of Leicester, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's done it for Chelsea, that lad, as well, and that, and you know, even at our level, you need that energy these days, and it's like the team we're playing today, like 7-0 over it, but there today, they'll all them 10 outfield players for them will run.
It's a different side, isn't it? This St Ives side to the one that lost 7-0. I mean, I'm looking at the names on there, and there's quite a few replacements and change of personnel. There's only Seymour Shub, I think it is, and I think it's Danny Kelly. I mean, we didn't have Josh Dawkins playing that day in the 7-0. He'd make a difference.
Yeah.
And Doobie wasn't in the squad. He's there to come on.
Oh, it's not going to be an easy game at all.
Right, did he actually manage to get here?
Yeah, I was waiting for him. I didn't know whether to pop round, and when I got in the car park, practically every person I said, "Have you got Doobie?" And I said, no, I think he's going somewhere else. So yeah, he'll probably come on.
So looking at things then, Alan, positively for the future, how do you see things developing? I've heard some stories, well, not stories, there are events from Richie on about the way that Latimer Park's going to develop, the ground, etc., which all seems very, very exciting. But really the fans want to see it on the pitch, don't they? And if we can get that right...
Well, of course they do.
If they can get that right, then we're there. Right?
Oh, it's hand in hand, isn't it? Off the pitch and everything, it'd be great if we do this and that, and it's good for the players as well as the fans as well. But, you know, these things take time. I mean, Cambridge City is a perfect example. For 5 years they've been going in this ground, and they're worse off now than they were 5 years ago. So you can't just press a button and say, I want to do that, I want to do that. But we can do that on the pitch. But I think the potential's here, and what with the Lions in China and the way Jason's running the youth set up and everything, and we got Luke now in from Brackley and everything doing it. I think it's really good for the club all round.
Okay, Alan, well, thank you very much for your time once again. Lovely to have you on here. I'm sure we'll see plenty of you next season. If not, we've got 3 home games left. We might try and get you in if we can after this one, so careful. It's a bit high up for you.
I've been trying to get a revolving chair for you.
I've heard that.
Cheers.
Thank you, Alan Doyle.